Well, now more than ever, we are in desperate need for CASA volunteers, and this may be the sign that you're looking for. So pay attention. First of all, both of you, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Samantha, why is there a need for CASA volunteers in our community?
Unfortunately, child abuse and neglect is a growing epidemic, not just in our community, but communities everywhere. So our program, we train everyday people in our community to be advocates for children who are in foster care. So they are in foster placements, and our volunteers go through a thorough training and meet with the children and make sure their needs are met and advocate for their permanency. And so right now we have over 100 volunteers serving 321 children in foster care, which is amazing. But unfortunately, there are an additional over 200 children waiting in foster care in Nueces and Aransas counties, which are the counties our programs serve. They're waiting for somebody to step up and be their CASA. And while we need volunteers across the board, we need more male volunteers, because of those 321 children, 55% are males. And of the over 100 CASA volunteers that we have, only 21% are males. So we need men in our community like Sridhar to step up, because these children need to have a positive, consistent male role model in their life.
So Sridhar, you are a CASA volunteer, bless your heart, and thank you for helping out these kiddos. Can you share what you do as a CASA volunteer?
The short answer is looking after the best interest of the kids and being their advocate, right? While they're in the system. So the long answer would be, unfortunately, basically, as much as it breaks your heart, and see why and how the kids end up in the system, the reality is there are too many kids in the foster care system. And as big as the system and as passionate as the people that work in the system, there aren't enough resources available, wherein someone can look after the kids' specific needs and being represented in such a way that they're maybe sent back to the parents at the end of it, or finding a different permanent home as earliest as it could be. So as a CASA volunteer, I would say there are 6 things, right? So the first thing would be, communicate and earn the trust of the kids. So if they need anything or if they want to share anything, they have a friend like you as a CASA volunteer. The second thing would be work with foster parents or wherever they're currently temporarily placed, to make sure that the kids' needs are being met and their voice is being heard. The third thing would be work with the biological parents or the caregivers where they came from, and to see if they are basically doing the services that court ordered them to. And most importantly, the fourth one, work with the CPS worker and make sure that the kids' interests are being represented. Granted, CPS workers have so many things, so many cases to handle, they can't look after all the kids. So it's your job as a CASA worker to make sure you put your needs also in front of them whenever it is needed. The fifth thing would be work with the attorneys and be in communication so that everybody is on the same page and the kids' legal interests are being addressed. The last thing would be when it comes to court hearing, CASA is the only unbiased party. So which means the judge want to hear what you have to say, because for the same reason that you're unbiased. So all in all, to sum it up, right, it's compassion, it's communication and coordination with the parties involved to achieve an end goal for the kids so that they can find a permanent home, whether it is where they came from or it's a new home with a new family.
Now, for someone out there, I know we've got some light bulbs going off, I think they might be interested in becoming a part of CASA. We just aren't sure if we have the time. How are you able to fit being a CASA volunteer into your schedule?
I would answer this in 2 parts, right? The first part is, if someone is entertaining a thought that they want to serve in a selfless way, that itself is a great step. Now, as to making the time for it, I would say, look at your life. How much time do you spend on social media in a week or a month? How much you spend in bars and restaurants? How much you spend in binge watching TV shows? Not that any of this is bad. I do sometimes. But look at all these fun activities and see how much is really adding to your growth as a human being. Let's say 20 hours a week, right? Take 20% of that, 4 hours a week. Take 4 hours of that week and put towards the causes like these, CASA or anything that you believe in, where you're not only impacting the kids and the families, the best you could, considering the situations the families come from. But that's something will genuinely make you happy, knowing that you made a positive contribution to the community and society at large.
Back to you, Samantha. What is the process to become a CASA volunteer? Because I know we're moving some people right now in this interview that, you know what, maybe this is something I can do. What does that look like, and where do we go for more information?
Well, as Sridhar mentioned, he attended an info session. And so that's the first step. If you're interested in becoming a CASA, attend a 45-minute non-committal info session that's held every Wednesday at noon via Zoom. And during these info sessions, we discuss the role of a CASA volunteer and then the process for applying to training. And right now, the next training, virtual Zoom volunteer training, is July 13th is when that starts. And so you can find out more information on coastalbendcasa.org, as well as on our Facebook page at Coastal Bend CASA for those info sessions and for information about training as well.